Namaste, gods, goddesses, and emissaries of light. This is Dr. Shreya Tayen, also known as Empress 1111. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Please hit like, subscribe, and do not forget to hit the notification bell so you can be updated on my latest and greatest videos. Well, they're great to me. I hope they're great to you too. All right. The divine masculines. You guys are in this expansion and growth process, and I am just sensing for a lot of you that this is crunch time. That's what comes to my mind when I think about what you're going through. A lot of adjustments and a lot of things are taking place. Let me go ahead and call on some help, and we'll get deep into this reading, okay? Call upon air, fire, water, earth, spirit, and ether. I also call upon the highest of the highest of the highest, which is Yarhevahe, to be able to give me the information that is necessary for your ascension, your expansion, and your growth process in all directions in time and space, past, present, and future. And so it is. Okay, crowning your reading, you do have the expansion card, and you are growing through, and notice I said growing through instead of going through, many cycles. Okay, you are continually moving, evolving, and going through these cycles in your life, so you will be able to attune and align yourself with the rhythms of the ebb and flow that is around you. This is an exciting time for new beginnings with your divine feminine. Growth and changes are intimate. Okay, so they are happening, and it will happen. There are some inner development. I want to say those two words together here. An expansion that you need to pay attention to everything that is around you, your relationships, relationships and ties that you need to cut and let go of. Your environment that you are in at this moment is not conducive for your growth. And some of you divine masculines are already knowing this, because you're not able to fully integrate the new energies of the earth adequately. And so right now you are opening yourself to this growth and maturity, but you realize that for some of you, you're going to have to relocate. You can't do it in the same environment in which the problem was created. And for some of you, you created this problem in the environment that you're now in. You have the be yourself always. For some of you divine masculines, you were not fully being yourself. You were allowing for people to pigeonhole you, box you, and to have you acting in a way that wasn't even you. You even knew you weren't fully yourself. You weren't happy. You were depressed. For a lot of you, I sense that you went into a deep, heavy, dark depression, which caused many of you to drink and to try to resolve it through alcohol. But you have come to find in this state that your problems, when you came back to reality, only became worse. And it was more of a heavy weight to deal with than if you were to just be sober and to just work through the problem on a spiritual level. And many of you have tapped into the spiritual realm, and you have tapped into your alchemical powers to be able to transmute and transform a lot of these heavy energies. And a lot of these energies that are heavy weren't even from the union. They were from the people that were in close proximity, like your friends, your family, and the karmic partners that you were in relationships with. And that's the reason why some of you already know what's good for you, and you have not taken on those energies again, but you have kept these energies at bay. And so I'm proud of some of you that have come to the conclusion where you know what's good for you, you know which side your bread is buttered on. And so with that being said, you have done your due diligence to keep your aura cleansed and not to dirty yourself again with these lower vibrational beings and these lower vibrational people. And you have even come to your senses, and you are even waking up about the family that is around you. You are starting to see that they're low vibrational too. They're like the crabs at the bottom of the barrel. They just wanted you to be down with them because they weren't fully happy in their lives. They're not fully living out their dreams and their reality. And so misery loves company. They wanted you to join them on that sinking Titanic. But you have awakened and you have jumped ship. For many of you, you are now starting to trust your inner voice, and you are starting to trust your own understanding, and overstanding. You're not going to your family anymore asking for advice about this relationship or any advice about your career path and all the things that you solely depended upon them on once before. You are pulling back the reins. You are pulling your energy from even some of these connections that at one point of time you used to hold near and dear to you. You see, you have come to an evolution of your soul as you continue to grow, as you continue to expand. You have recognized that these energies are not of your vibrational match in frequency. And so therefore, as you arise and you continue to ascend, you are collaborating as you are integrating these energies, and you are taking on a whole new reality for yourself. And not only for yourself, even your perspective, you are looking at it from a higher perspective, the union between you and your divine feminine. You see, you are at this place where you are breaking the chains that once bound you with the ancestry bloodline. You are healing, and you are in this mode of rewriting your future by changing your mind. You change your mind, you change everything. You are now very clear that your inner world is a direct manifestation of your outer world. So within, so without. You have come to this initiation in the spiritual realm where you now know how to bring heaven onto the earth. Crown chakra connecting with the heart chakra. And with that being said, you are now filtering your thoughts through your heart instead of the other way around. The mind is no longer dominating your feelings and your thoughts. For some of you divine masculine, I'm sensing that some of you divine masculines haven't been honest with the divine feminine about how you really felt about the connection and the union. In your ego, which is not your amigo, you have kept that at bay because of your ego and your pride. When your divine feminine would display romanticisms and to share her deepest innermost feelings about how she felt about you and the connection, you would just basically be emotionless and you wouldn't respond or reply back. You would act like as if you were unimpacted or unaffected by her love, you see. But really inside deep, you were yearning, you were longing to love her and to express those feelings and emotions, but out of your own guilt and your own incrimination of self, you knew that you weren't even worthy to even display how you felt about your emotions towards her, because you have not always put her first and you have not always done right by her. So in your ignorance of not knowing how to express love fully, you kept it to yourself, which in all reality ended up backfiring towards you, because now you're in this situation where you had to cut connections with your karmic because you knew that you did not love her the way that you loved your divine feminine. You knew that you were forcing a smile. You knew that you were forcing I love yous to a person that you truly and wholly did not solely and deeply was in love with. You see. And the karmics, they are intuitive too. They were able to see through your smoke screen. They was able to see that at times when you were in deep thought and contemplations, that it was not about her. It was about you and the divine feminine. You were reminiscing on the past of how things used to be and how they could be and how they should be. And so you slowly pulled away from this connection with the karmic. These are the chains that needed to be broken. And for a lot of the divine masculines, I would say for at least 60% of you, so a little bit over half of you, are now coming into this reality that These connections no longer serve you. They never served you anyway. You just had this gravitational and magnetic pull because you had a contract that you had with these individuals. And now that these contracts are done and they're over, now you need to release this. You need to break the chains. Come and visit me on the other side. I will help you. And in regards to breaking these chains, many of you have done this on your own. And for those of you that are still struggling between the karmic and the divine feminine, I will assist you. I will help you to get your chakras cleansed and cleared and aligned, because that's all that needs to be done. And then cut some cords. You need to do some cord cutting and some just a real good cleansing and clearing is what I'm feeling and sensing for some of you. And really take advantage of this, because full price, you know, is way more than paying $11.11 for me to help you. Okay. So I offer that to you if you want it. If not, that's fine too. You have this information. Do with it according to how you feel fit for your soul. All right. So let's go over to the next card, which is the Akashic Records. Okay. Right now, divine masculines, you are being divinely guided by the universe to be able to continue to ascend and move upward and onward on your spiritual path and your spiritual journey. A lot of you are starting to realize that you signed a divine contract not to be solo on this journey, but to have a person right next to you side by side. And so in the evolution of your soul, you are also having an evolution of your intellect and your conscious mind. And you are now putting the divine feminine on a pedestal. You are rising above water now. You are starting to see very clearly who in the hell this divine feminine is to you, really. You always known from the very beginning that she was different from the rest. You just didn't know to what magnitude. You didn't know that it was a spiritual connection. And for some of the divine masculines, I am sensing that you are knowing with pure, authentic, intrinsic feelings and vibrations that the divine feminine is truly indeed your other half. She is like to you as what Eve was to Adam, your rib. She is the only one, the numero uno of your life. And in this recognition, you don't have a problem putting her first now, because you realize that what worked for you before is not going to work with her, because she's different. She's unique. She's special. And most importantly, she is a bona fide woman, and she is 100% bona fide woman for you. You are now stepping into your emperor power. You have always been a leader. You have always been the type of person that those that are having problems around you come to, because they know that they can count on you. Well, now you are going to give that reprieve to the divine feminine. Now she can be the one that you can be the one that she can count on. In times past, the divine feminine have felt like they were the ones that were left out in the cold. But in the Akashic Records, you have pulled so many records of you and the divine feminine. You've had so many memory recalls of past lives that you guys incarnated where you just could not seem to get it right. In this lifetime, you want to make up for that, more to make up for that. You want to get it right in this lifetime, and you want to give her the offer that she cannot refuse, and that is your presence. You guys are not giving her any mediocrity anymore. No more mediocre text messages, no more mediocre promises, empty promises, calculated promises. You are going to give her everything that she deserves. And this is identified with the second chakra with Archangel Ariel. The solar plexus is where the ego is. And if this card was upright, then that will let me know that you're having issues with the ego. But since it's in reverse, it's letting me know that you are coming out of ego. And like I said, you are realizing that your ego is not your amigo, and that for about 90% of you, this is what had put you in separation with your divine counterpart in the first place, because your ego and your pride was bigger than the love in your heart for your divine feminine at that time, you see. But at this current time, you are now in a position to where you are not operating by your ego. You have minimized your ego, and now you are making steps, you are making plans, and you are turning your direction towards her. You're turning your attention towards her. You're now listening to her, and it's in such a way that she knows that now she's being recognized and understood. In times past, when she will relay words to you, it would be bouncing off of dead ears. Okay, it was like she was speaking to a brick wall, and now they are no longer falling upon dead ears, but they are falling upon the ears of an enlightened man, an awakened man who is every day dying to himself, but is opening up himself and living for this union. Because not only is he living for the union for this divine feminine, but he also realizes that he's living for the divine. And in one state, when he didn't even know himself, he was edging God out. He was edging his divine feminine out, because the ego was so enlarged that every aspect of his life was overshadowed by this ego. And it served him well, because it got him to where he is now financially, career-wise. But like I said again, he realized that it's not serving him in this union. And it has really greatly affected his relationship with Source. The divine feminine is the key back into the divine connection that he had all along. He just forgotten along the way, because he has gotten himself entangled within the material plane of existence and in this material world. But he has gained so much, and he's lost so much along the way. And one of the things that he's lost along the way is this divine connection. I don't think that he wants to forfeit that anymore. The universe is giving the divine masculines another chance. And you have this with the World card. What goes around comes around. And as you can see, half of the earth is illuminated and the other half is in darkness. Okay, this represents the light and the shadow side of the divine masculine. He is now waking up to the fact that the spiritual plane is his light side and the material plane is his dark side, but he knows that he has both his shadow and his light, which is nothing wrong with both. They both serve their purposes. But in this awakened state, now he knows how to bridle his tongue. Now he knows how to work in generosity and compassion instead of working from his shadow side out of manipulation and being apathetic and not caring. He is balancing the two. He's looking at this union very hard. The divine masculines are in deep thought. It almost seemed like for some of you divine masculines that you crowded out the divine feminine and you weren't thinking that much about her when you were with your karmics and when you were pursuing your careers. But now, since you have spiritually awakened and you're still being awakened, and you're still awakening is what I meant to say, you are thinking about the divine feminine constantly now. You're thinking about her feelings and her emotions, and you're now putting yourself in her shoes. And for some of you, you can't even figure out why you've done her this way. This is very funny because this is the same position as the divine feminine's last card, which is attachment, which of course caused an eyebrow to raise for me, because I'm like, so is the divine masculine also being told to walk away? Because the divine feminines were being told with this card to walk away. But Source is telling you something totally different. Source is telling you to let go of your financial worry and your constraints, because that's what's keeping you stuck in your current situation and your contracts with your karmics, friends and family, and love interests included. All three are a group when I say karmics on this one. You're worried about your finances because you realize that if you come back to your divine feminine, that you may lose what you currently have. But just trust the process, divine masculines. God is never going to ask you to put down something that he's not going to replace. You guys are basically limiting your own supply. You're cutting off your own supply from the universe because you don't think that God can match your current compensation and your current money, not realizing that the reason why you have what you have is because of the divine anyway. This whole situation was divinely orchestrated so you can get your lessons that you need in order for you to come back to this union built and competent and in your emperor power to be the divine masculine that God has called you to be for this union anyway. You only have what you have because the divine is the one that provided for you. So the same person that provided you with what you have now is going to continue to provide you what you need with the divine masculine, and you're going to get, with the divine feminine and divine masculines, you're going to continue to get more. You're going to get more than what you have with the divine feminine than what you have now. You see. Another thing that is preventing you is because a lot of you had a codependency with the divine feminine and with your karmics. And right now you have this in reverse, which means that you are now starting to appreciate the femininity. You are starting to appreciate the feminine that is within you. You are starting to appreciate your divine feminine. And so you are doing a balancing act right now. And you are being asked still to let go of how things are going to pan out, how you're going to get back to her. Just all you have to do is be clear on the fact that you want to get back into union, and source will lead the way. And the reason why this card is also in reverse, I'm getting a download, is because a lot of you divine masculines were control freaks. You were domineering. You dominated and controlled the whole relationship with your divine feminine. When she offered you money, you would be like, no, I'm a man. Let me do this on my own. And you, guess what? It took you years and months later to be able to get to where you needed to be financially, because in your own arrogance, you pushed away the help that you needed in order for you to come back into this union. A lot of you wanted to silence the divine feminine because she was so powerful that you felt inferior. You didn't feel man enough because you felt like she was too masculine, not realizing that all she was doing was just balancing out your energies and then stepping up where you slacked off. She's to be commended for that, because most women, if you suffer, we all suffer, and they suffer with you together. Be happy that that divine feminine did not allow you guys to suffer in such a way that it would have affected you financially. She stepped in. She stepped up to the plate. She took care of the finances so you guys can swim. It was a sink and swim situation, and be happy that she kept the relationship and the finances afloat. But a lot of you are starting to realize that. Okay. Another thing that you guys are attached to with this being upright is that you guys are attached to sexual addictions and alcohol is what I'm sensing. A lot of you are workaholics is what I'm getting as a download too. Let go. Let go of the sexual addictions. This is the attachment that you are attached to. Okay, you need to clear this out of your chakra, the temptations. You're not grounded. Okay, it is the sacral chakra, yes, that is for the sexual energy. But when this is imbalanced, this is temptations. Okay, this is where the temptations come in at. And part of those temptations I'm getting is sexuality. It's promiscuity. It's alcoholism. And it's because you're not grounded. This is the reason why Archangel Michael was showing up. It's time to cut cords. It's time for your chakras to get aligned. I told you that before we even got to the last of your reading. I knew that when Michael showed up, it was time for you to do some cleansing and clearing. Michael don't just show up for nothing. Michael shows up when there's work that needs to be done. Okay. All right, divine masculines. I hope this is enough for you to process what you need to do and what your next step is. I'm proud of you. You guys have come a long way, and you are working your spiritual badassery. Okay. You are pretty much in the same energy. You've been here and you've been holding your own now for the last week. I haven't seen you move from the energy of wanting to be back into union with your divine feminines. Okay. So good job. Keep up the good work. It is a good karma to like, share, comment, subscribe, leave a love donation if you feel inclined to, or you can purchase a gift from my Amazon wish list so it can show up on the channel. I now wrap you in my love and I cloak you with the light of Christ consciousness. And so it is, everyone. Namaste.